The Cybertruck really required a whole ton of bravery to unveil. Today's video is not about news or updates about the Cybertruck. It's more of a thought-provoking piece I needed to get out there because it's been on my mind a lot recently how many drastic design choices they made with the Cybertruck that ultimately Tesla knew in the long term needed to happen, and I think it says a lot about their character and how things haven't really changed from the beginning of Tesla making what they needed to make in order to survive in the long term. It's kind of insane how forward-thinking they are in so many ways, but I think throughout history, this by far was one of the bravest, maybe arguably dumbest, unveilings of any vehicle in history, just because of how drastically different the Cybertruck looked compared to traditional pickup trucks. And I get it, design is a personal preference thing. It's not something we could really be objective about and say, no, this is factually better looking. It all comes down to what we prefer on a personal level. That's why it's very hard to argue why red is a better color than blue, or certain designs are better than the other. It all comes down to preference, and this challenged so many preferences at once. If you recall what people were expecting the Tesla pickup truck to look like, they all had fairly logical reasoning. It's very traditional to assume that because a car company likes to have kind of a running theme, if a car company tries to make one vehicle look a certain way, they want to bring a lot of those attributes to their other vehicles. Yeah, you can make cheaper and more practical versions or more luxurious versions, but you want to have that running consistency between all of your different models. That's why so many people assumed a Tesla pickup would look something like a Model X, but with a bed attached to the back, and it would still have this curvy, sexy, aesthetically pleasing design. That's why the Cybertruck was so far away from anyone's potential concept, because I think what the Cybertruck did was showcase what Tesla's running theme is. Their consistency throughout their vehicles and their designs is not about making something curvy and sexy and follow this general design trend of the Model S, the Model X, the Model 3, the Model Y. They all have a lot of similarities in design, and the Cybertruck broke all of those similarities that we thought Tesla was going to be consistent with, because it showcased that at the end of the day, what Tesla truly cares the most about is nailing the product and making it functional and better than the competitor in ways that no other company would really have the guts to try to combat with. Things like the interior design of the Model 3 and Y. So minimal, so heavily focused on the display. To many people, to a fault. Some people would rather have more buttons and knobs and physical things. Again, personal preference. But that gutsy move of being able to say, no, this is the future, this is what we think it's going to be, and we don't care if that's what people want, because if we asked what people wanted, they would have said faster horses, right? This, I think, is a classic example of Tesla putting their foot down and saying, we know what you think pickup trucks look like. We know what you expect a Tesla pickup truck to look like, but we're going to throw the playbook out the window and just focus on making the overall product exactly what people want. And if you go back and look at Elon Musk's tweets when he asked people, what would you like to see out of a Tesla pickup? They followed pretty closely to what people were asking for. They were looking for a durable exterior that would not dent and scrape and paint as easy as all the rest of the Teslas did. They wanted a tailgate that could convert into a ramp. They wanted something that had an insanely good range, but at the same time, start at around the same price the Model 3 starts at. And a lot of what people were wishing for sounded impossible. You want it to be bigger, you want adaptive air suspension, you want this giant bed, you want Ford F-150 practicality, but you want it to start at the same price as a Model 3, and you want it to have all of these durability benefits that the Model 3 didn't have. Well, Tesla and their team of engineers found a way to make all of that possible. They found a way to make it affordable, practical, functional, useful, durable, and at the same time price it in such a competitive way that that's how I think so many people have been starting to fall in love with the Cybertruck design. There have been countless comments I've seen throughout the times I've talked about the truck on video. Everyone has always said, when I first saw it, I was disgusted, I was repulsed, I thought it was crazy, I thought it was fake. But then as time went on and I kept looking at it, and the more I realized why they designed it the way they did, people started warming up to it. People started becoming more comfortable with it. And now I've seen a lot of people that hated it at first end up reserving one because they realized the intention behind the design. It was not for the sake of, we want to be different and we want to stand out. It was because this was the only way to check all of those boxes that so many people were asking for out of a Tesla pickup. And if the one compromise is making a design that some people think looks bizarre and looks weird, but you're able to price it right, you're able to have durability, you're able to have functionality, then in the end, it won't really matter what the outside of the truck looks like, as long as the thing works. And I think that's how Tesla kind of nailed the pickup truck in that way, because fundamentally, fundamentally, the whole point of a pickup truck is to be more practical, is to have more functionality than a typical car. And the fact that they went all out on functionality and practicality and price point and not focusing too much on the aesthetics. Let's make a real pretty truck. Let's make a truck with really great red paint. You know, they threw all of that out. In fact, there's so many complaints about Tesla's paint jobs in their current vehicles that they realized, hey, if we did a stainless steel truck, we don't have to worry about the paint job. So that problem is completely surpassed and replaced with a very, very practical, durable vehicle. But once again, this design was so out of the ordinary, so unexpected, and Tesla had to have known that there was going to be a huge number of people that weren't going to like it. And honestly, I've seen lots of Tesla fans in the community that are not a fan of the design. They're okay with the price and the practicality, but they would never be caught dead driving this thing because of how weird it looks, and they wish Tesla would go make a traditional pickup truck as well. But they took that chance. Tesla knew they would get backlash. They knew they would get made fun of and memed to death, but at the end of the day, they knew what the product needed to be. And in my opinion, being able to bypass all of that mockery and being able to bypass all of that criticism that you know is going to be there for the sake of, yes, but this is what has to happen for the product to be good. Call it stupid, call it courage, call it whatever you want, but I call it bravery because you knew how necessary it was, but at the same time how hard it would be to unveil. But at the same time, yes, I agree, they should have saved the armored glass demo for after the unveiling instead of doing it at the beginning, or maybe throw the metal ball first and then strike the truck with the sledgehammer. But hindsight's 2020, they thought it was gonna work, and in that sense alone, how many pickup truck companies do you know would be willing to go out on stage with their pickup truck, take a sledgehammer to it and a metal ball, throw it at the glass? Granted, yes, the demo did not go the way they planned, but still, can you think of another car company that would really feel comfortable doing that? I imagine not very common, and you probably won't see that again for a very, very long time. But it makes me have an immense amount of respect for Tesla to be willing to do the thing that no one else will, and that's why I'm so grateful that they're doing it. And they seem to be prioritizing the Cybertruck now over every other vehicle they have in their pipeline, and they want to get these things out on the road, and I cannot wait to see Cybertrucks driving around on public streets and how different they're going to look in public and how this vehicle is going to seriously turn heads once it's out. If there's more subjects or more topics you would like about the Cybertruck, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and we can chat more about it there because I love making Cybertruck videos. You guys clearly like watching them, but there's not new updates I could give every day, but this is just what was on my mind at the moment, so I wanted to share it with you. And I appreciate you all watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.